Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome to another video. Hope you guys are doing well today. Now, if you've been following the videos in the last couple of days, we did a 14 temple as DPS, and it went really, really bad. We had quite a lot of deaths. We had just people making mistakes all over the place. It really wasn't a pleasant environment, and we never ended up finishing the run because, well, basically, one person DC'd or rage quit, whatever. We'll give him the benefit of the doubt and say that he had internet issues, shall we? But all in all, it wasn't a great experience. So I then went into another key after that, and it was just as bad. Yeah, it kind of was. Unfortunately, we were. In fact, I say just as bad. We didn't even get past this trash right here. It was that bad. So I queued for another one and decided, you know what? I don't think it was the healer's fault in any of our runs so far, but I do think that just being able to smash through healing here means that we're much likely to get further in the run. And that's not an ego thing, but I think just being able to hard carry, like no one's even dropped low really on this pack so far, and they're all standing in it. It's not a problem at all. So don't get me wrong, it's brute force. It really is brute force. And is that the way I want to do keys? No. But am I happy to brute force them if it means I get the score? Absolutely. So we get to flex a little bit here and kind of pump healing, try and do as much damage as possible, even. And yeah, we get to flex a little bit, which is always fun, of course. So I'm gonna stick a Dream Breath out, top him up with my insta proc Living Flames, which we really like. I'm actually gonna drink just a little bit here. I'm expecting this next pack to be a little bit spicy. So in an ideal world, I need everyone stacked up. And the reason for that is so I can get everyone in my temporal vortex. It wasn't a clean kill at all, but we've pumped out 50k healing just out of nowhere. Our Living Flames are actually carrying a little bit. I thought it would be completely useless. It isn't. It's so good. Okay, that's good to know. So I mean, we pumped out 55k healing. And we got through it. Now, don't get me wrong. Obviously, this is a 12. We've tried doing a 14 before. It's one of those things that, yeah, it's not ideal, but I'd rather get it done. And obviously, if the other healers couldn't heal it because it was a slightly higher key, then that's fair enough. I mean, I like I said, I really don't want to gaslight the healers in the last run or two because I actually don't think it was the healer's fault in any of the scenarios. But I've just been able to heal through it with a little bit of brute force and not paying attention. But this set bonus is juicy. So I was really, really doubting how good the four piece would be, but it's awesome. It's really nice for devastation as well. I will say, like it's not like I'm now respecing or anything else to go and healer. But yeah, so nice and steady on this fight. We're kicking out 17.5k DPS while keeping everyone really healthy. Because of my set bonus, I'm going to try and keep those. Ooh, that's not good. Because of my set bonus, I'm going to try and keep reversions up on as many people as possible. Just makes it easier for me and them. Don't know where he is. I'm a little bit scared to just charge to him. It's unfortunately the negative part of Living Flame is sometimes you're just not quite sure. Managed to save him with the tip the scales and a really smooth, clean, quick kill. So one of the things that I've talked about in previous video is kind of discussing measure of success. And I mentioned this in the last video. What's my measure of success for this dungeon? Well, for me, I want to time it. That's the important part for me. I want the score, therefore I want to time it. And a couple of the things is kind of communication and things like that. And in the last group I was in, which I did record but didn't actually either upload because it just wasn't a nice group, I didn't get any kind of response from people. No one wanted to talk to me. I said hello. No one answered me. It was very clear that our levels of communication and what we were expecting from the run were very different. And it was noticeable. And not a nice, like I said, not a nice environment at all. So it really is one of those things that, ow, 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 stop hitting me. Use Emerald Communion, just top ourselves up here. But yeah, it really wasn't a nice experience, and I probably should have learned something early and just said, actually, I don't think this is going to be a particularly good experience. Let's leave while I still have my mental intact. I didn't, and it did trigger me, and it did annoy me. And I had taken a little break before I got to this one, so there we go. There's the lesson of the day: is if a group feels bad and it feels off, even if you just say, look, sorry guys, not for me, I've changed my mind. They might slate you, but who cares really? They're pugs. And even if they're not pugs, I mean, it sounds stupid, but if they're not pugs and you're not feeling the group, then I would honestly say don't do it. Don't go. So trying to pump as much damage as possible, which is still the name of the game as a healer in keys. And actually, probably a little bit easier for me now, to be honest, with just how good this set bonus seems to be. I didn't think it would proc this much, but it's up constantly. So let's get some echoes out on everyone. The tank is getting his brain pushed in a little bit. So we've got reversions out. They're going to start exploding. I actually don't mind using a rewind here and just staying healthy. So it's interesting. I tell you guys as a DPS. So anyone who watches the DPS series, I tell you guys it's really important. You want to be using your cooldowns often and not wasting them, getting the most amount of them in a dungeon. Yeah, I don't do that as a healer, which is strange. So I've also been looking at a friend of mine's just started playing a little bit more Preservation of Ochre, and it because obviously we've been talking about it and things like that, and I've seen his journey of trying to experience the class. I have noticed that not many people are running the same build as me, and they're certainly not relying on the same spells as me in M plus as a healer, which is quite interesting. But I don't really know what to take from it. Aside from the fact that I seem to be able to brute force at the moment, so I can't be doing things wrong. Obviously, this is a 12. I am brute forcing it a little bit. We are stood in every mechanic and all that good stuff. My mana seems to be a little bit lower than most groups, but aside from that, I'm not really sure. Obviously, we are very mastery heavy. That's one thing that probably good to know. I also got this from the raid, which is super cool. More avoidance, which obviously we love. But I get to drink from that quite regularly. So I am going to try and pump the boss here. And only heal if I have to. We're going to stick a temporal anomaly out into deep breath, living flame, disintegrate, and let's get our reversion out. So everyone has a hot at the moment. I would really like if this chamois would actually just stand ever so slightly in front. But one day people will realise. One day people will go, oh yeah, it's a preservation of Ochre. I should probably stand in. That would make his life very helpful. It isn't yet, unfortunately. We need to go in and clear. Gonna re-put up my reversion. So looks like I'm going to have to heal. Actually, I'm going to use tip the scales there just to keep everyone healthy. We're pulling 20k DPS at the moment, which is actually pretty damn good. He's taking so much damage. I understand it's feeling of superiority. I don't actually know how that mechanic works, but he's taking a lot of damage, and I would like him to stop if he could. That'd be great. Has ruined our DPS just a tad, but I've kept him alive, and actually that makes my life easy. So happy days. So obviously most of the trash still left, which we expect because it's temple and all the trash is in the courtyard and in the last boss room. I am a little bit concerned about the last boss because I've got no way to dispel that debuff. So it is something that I am slightly aware of. But yeah, once again, I mean, we really are. Oh, it's a curse. So I can only get it with that, I think. That sucks. Yeah, I can only dispel one of the magic buffs on the last boss, which I'm not particularly excited about. Is someone else dispelling this, or am I just doing things that I don't think I can do? Yeah, so it's not me. So I keep pressing my button and the buff goes, but it's not actually me doing it. You learn things every day. So probably not used my flame breath as much as I could in this run. If I'm being critical of myself for a moment, I think I've played decently well considering. I don't think I've played fantastically, but we've got through the dungeon and we've had one death so far, and I would even say that that was a death that wasn't my fault. So in the grand scheme of things, I'm pretty happy with the way everything's going. But if I was to be critical, don't die. If I was to be critical, I would say that we could probably use more flame breaths. So I am going to clear. Obviously, normally as a DPS, I am actually very greedy. So I don't mind allowing the DPS to have the buff and keep the buff if they can keep pumping. I'd really like to know who's dispelling. Let's have a look. Not deaths. Oh, it's actually the Shami. Nice, that's really cool. So, happy days. All of those are dead. Let's just throw you back a bit. Now, if you wanted to go big here, I wouldn't be against it. Just watching that pack behind us. Going to send out a temporal anomaly and then do some damage, and then we're going to hit people with a dream breath. Now, keeps everyone super healthy. I mean, it just does so much healing, and then we're going to get everyone with the reversion as well. So everyone at the moment has got 4 hots on them, and to be honest, I don't really have to worry about them. Now these are going to blow up, and as they blow up, I was actually going to use the rewind, but I don't think I need to. I genuinely think I'm just so far ahead of the healing at the moment. That's interesting. I actually haven't healed a key for a little while. And with Devastation getting buffed recently, I expected that I'd be playing a lot more Devastation, just for obvious reasons, really. But I'm interested to see just how high a key I can go as a healer right now, because quite frankly, I'm absolutely smashing it. So I'm using 2 mana-based trinkets at the moment. One obviously being Dreamscape Prism, and now the Conjured Chill Globe. I uh, I find that I am quite mana in hungry with this build, and just running 2 allows me to be happy with life. So I am trying to use it a lot. I haven't really this is literally the first time I've healed with it. I got it in the raid and then we stopped at Dathia. So yeah, I haven't really. I have enjoyed the raid, but it's still just not my content raiding. It used to be at one point, but it's just not my bag anymore, I think. So everyone's got full stacks of reversion on them. It's VEU and then stick a Dream Breath out, which means everyone's got huge amounts of healing right now. Let's top you up with that and send out one of those. Preservation, it just feels so fun. And yeah, I suppose it is one of those feelings of overpoweredness. They are very strong at the moment, and would I be able to brute force a key like this, even in the same gear as a Resto Chamois? Maybe, maybe not. Probably not. Would I be able to do it as, I don't know, a Disc Priest? Pretty renowned for being bad at the moment. Again, I'd argue probably not. So, yeah, I think I just enjoy the fact that it's so strong. Now, I didn't get to drink before this. So, and they seem to have actually not pulled so I can drink. Give him a little smiley face. Now, I don't want to bloodlust this boss. I think this boss is actually very easy. Um, as long as you avoid the strikes, and I smash through healing on the tank. So the biggest issue on this boss is actually the tank healing, ironically. So because he puts up I'm going to say a magic absorb or a heal absorb, sorry, which you have to just pump heals into. But I have a feeling I'm going to be able to break it very quickly. So we've got a reversion on everyone, and this is that, and I've broke it instantly there, but I did use a cooldown. I'll be fair, and I used a cooldown, but I have a feeling I can break that pretty much every time. Once again, I'm going to refresh that. I'm then going to big Dream Breath, and he's insta healed out of it. So yeah, I can't see that being much of a healing issue at all to deal with. I'm going to try something in a minute with Echo and VE, see if that breaks it. So we're going to Echo, VE, and it did. It insta healed him, and he stood in it. So I'm glad we did, otherwise he might have died. But yeah, I mean, I've not had this feeling of just complete overpoweredness for a little while, but to be honest, it's doing something for me. I'm enjoying it. Maybe a little bit more healing keys to come. So just to talk a little bit of my goals and ambitions, I suppose, at the moment. We are very close to hitting Keystone Master, which is obviously 2K rating. We are. I stood in that. That's bad because I'm a noob. That's just overall for the character. Obviously, I want to hit that then for both healer and DPS, so go and complete the same level keys for both, which I think is more than doable. I think once you've done it, just in general, you have a good feeling for how the dungeon's going to play out and what you do and don't need to avoid, where the big damage is, and I think getting into the keys will obviously be a lot easier. Then I have a little bit of a choice to make. Do I go into Keystone Hero, which is 2.5k, obviously going to be a little bit harder to hit, but I think it's very doable, and I could potentially do that as both Devastation and Preservation. Or do I try and push more characters to the Keystone Master stage? Oof, that is such a good grip right there. I've had to knock that back, unfortunately. But really nice recovery from the group there. I think I've been blessed with just how good this group is after some of the bad ones I've had earlier. Drop the Fire Breath into this, and we are going to just DPS for the rest of this pack because I don't think the enemy's a healer. Very much potential for a 2 chest on a 12 with a pug, which is nice. But yeah, we've got a bit of a choice as to where we go after this. I'm leaning towards trying to push for Keystone Hero as an evoker, as opposed to just preservation or devastation. Um, and I do want to push for kind of rating on some other classes and things like that as well. I talked recently about trying to do one as a warlock or affliction warlock, see how high we could get that as a rating. Oh, so we're actually going to use CC on this next pack. That's interesting because it's a really nasty pack. Which one are we CCing? Yeah, so if you guys have any ideas of what you would like to see or where I could go from here, then please let me know in the comments. I'd be very interested, of course. Um, yeah, so that's kind of the next step, I suppose. So I'm hoping he's going to fire that. But 3 minutes left. We need to get on with this pack, actually. Is he playing survival? I did not realize that. Oh my god, the tank died. Um, I kind of wasn't expecting that. I don't really know what to say. I was just bigging myself up and like, oh yeah, 2.5k, that's easy, but not when people get insta killed. It's not. It's a little bit harder when that happens. So we've got now no CC going out, or actually currently out. The tank's about to die again. So we've got full hots on the tank, which means I'm pretty confident that short of, I don't know, a crit, which I don't think can actually happen anymore, he should be fairly healthy for a minute. Going to drop the Spirit Bloom, which tops him back off, hit him with a Verdant Embrace, just so I can top him back off again in a second if I need to. I have Rewind if I need to use it. I want to break this early if I can. So I'm going to use the Rewind here just to get people topped up. And someone stood in the breath. That's not me. That's not my fault. It's fine. We are going to get another wave of ads. They're obviously going to explode. In an ideal world, I'd like to get a temporal anomaly out there early. But it looks like it doesn't even matter. We've managed to recover. Beautiful job. We've probably lost the 2 chest, but we've still got 7 minutes on the chest as a whole. Let's not stand in that now. I don't like the idea of just kind of going greedy here and going straight into the boss. Let's actually get these clear because these hurt. Yeah, I would have certainly liked mana before pulling. Because, I mean, be realistic. We're not hitting 2 chests now. So there was no loss for us to wait an extra 10 seconds there or so just to get mana and things like that. So we've dispelled one of them. No, actually, the healing is not too bad. Obviously, it isn't. It's fortified, not tyrannical, so you wouldn't expect it to be too bad. But so I'm going to get the reversions out on everyone. I'm going to stick another temporal anomaly down. Hit him with a fire breath. Hit him with another temporal anomaly. Mainly because I actually do want to stick a dream breath down at some point. Happy days. Need to be a little bit careful on mana here, although I have got a trinket. And that's why I'm not DPSing all too much, just because I actually want to just conserve my mana for a second. So I'm going to insta-dispel one of those. Going to VE the other. And double Dream Breath on everybody. Into another round of Temporal Anomalies, which means everyone should have the reversions as well. I am kind of struggling on mana, but that's because I can get to drink. But I just don't think it's an issue at this point, to be honest. Going to hit him with the Dream Breath. Everyone's got 2 stacks. Dispel myself immediately. Everyone's got stacks again, so we're going to hit him with a reversion also. Dispel it off. And I think this is on for a very, very tidy. We had a couple of deaths. No deaths for me, just saying. But we had a couple of deaths. It is what it is. But actually, very happy with the way the key went. How much score are we going to get? That is the big question. That's what this is all about. 76 score. We've gone to 1866, which puts this up there in terms of our highest keys. Actually, no, we still need quite a big improvement because of our. We haven't got a tyrannical score either. So, still quite an improvement to be made there. We need a Halls of Valor, and I believe we need a Ruby Life Ball as well. So, hopefully, improvements to be coming in the future to our score, and let us know what you'd like to see in the future. Thanks for watching, and catch you later, guys. Bye.